The Parable of the Two Cooks. Thomas Quigley was excited about his new job as a cook at the Paris Cafe and Grill. He had worked at several noted restaurants around the world, but the Paris Cafe just seemed to feel right to him. On his first day, he arrived early and stood before the small yet charming restaurant, hands upon his hips and his feet spread out accordingly. For several seconds he gazed upon the edifice, the antique bricks, the plate glass windows and doors, and the Parisian lettering upon the sign that loomed so silently, yet so triumphantly, above him. He tugged at one of the long brass handles that adorned the double-glass front doors of the cafe. Drat, he gently gnawed, as he quickly discovered the doors were locked. Then, upon noticing someone moving about within, he rapped upon the glass several times until he was confident he had gained their attention. Around the back, came the muffled voice of a young woman. Thomas Quigley soon found his way to the very back of the building, and then, as he turned the somewhat ramshackle doorknob that opened the graffiti-laden back door, he felt something peculiar. Perhaps it was déjà vu, or perhaps it was just a strange and meaningless feeling of elation, or perhaps it was just a nervous reaction to a new environment. Yet, whatever the feeling was or was not, somehow, Thomas Quigley then innately knew that something new, something challenging, something wonderful was only just beginning to take place in his life. As he passed down the small hallway in the back of the restaurant, he noticed a restroom on his right. Perfect, he piped out as he swung open the somewhat dingy-looking door. He checked out his image in the mirror for a second or two and then, from his knapsack, produced a brand spanking new chef's outfit, complete with a San Marcos chef's coat, matching kitchen pants, and a poplin hat. He donned his new bright white outfit and once again peered into the mirror. He smiled back confidently at his reflection before washing up and then exiting the restroom. Thomas inhaled deeply as he entered the kitchen, taking in the aroma of fresh vegetables and various sorts of meat that had been brought in from the market just that morning. As he scanned the large and well-equipped kitchen, he noticed a portly sort of fellow dash through the door behind him.
"Damn traffic! I hate those idiots on the highway!"
the man complained. He then sort of snorted through his rather large nose as he looked Thomas in the eye.
"I'm Josh, and you must be the new cook I've heard tell of,"
the man declared as he eyed Thomas up one side and then down the other. "Yes, the name is Thomas Quigley," Thomas retorted, as Josh briefly made eye contact again.
"Well, we might as well get to work,"
spouted the somewhat frazzled Josh.
Slice about 4 pounds of potatoes, 3 pounds of onions, and 2 pounds of leeks,"
the corpulent cook ordered.
"I am preparing potatoes blanches today, and I need to get that into the oven way before the noon-hour rush. Oh, and we will be cooking up a lot of French fries today, so get the oil going before you do anything else."
"You got it," replied Quigley, as he peered about hoping to find some fresh cooking oil. But then, after less than a minute or so, having had no luck finding any, he queried the other cook as to the whereabouts of the oil.
Well, just use yesterday's oil,"
Josh Johnson responded.
"I'm sure it's still okay,"
he sputtered in a semi-confident tone as he lit up a cigarette.
"I wish I could be more help to you, but I have to get a couple 3 roasts in the oven. Muy pronto."
He half spoke, half hacked, as a thick cloud of smoke billowed from his mouth. Thomas then put aside his pursuit for the oil and decided to, instead, wash some potatoes first. And as he then began to spray off a colander full of small white russets, he could see Johnson holding his cigarette in his mouth as ashes fell onto a leg of lamb he was preparing. Mildly shocked, yet wanting to be polite, Crigley called out,
"I think some of your ashes just fell on your mutton, Josh."
This, to which the unabashed Johnson then quickly chortled.
It gives it character.
He then poured a hefty dose of salt and then garlic powder on top of the raw meat.
"I really don't like lamb, and I can't figure out why anybody would. And anybody who orders it gets exactly what they deserve,"
he went on. He then proceeded to hurriedly repeat the process with a pork tenderloin and a beef roast, pouring massive amounts of salt, garlic powder, and even red pepper on top. As he finished putting the meat in the large stainless steel ovens, he announced that he needed to take a cigarette break, whereupon he disappeared into another room. Thomas found the oil in the deep fryer. As he came close to it, he realized it was not good. It was dark and had a slight rancid smell. He began then to look for some fresh oil. He certainly did not want to cook with that. Is that the oil that Johnson said was good enough? He wondered. Just then Thomas sensed someone standing behind him, as he stood looking into a rather messy pantry. Upon turning around, he discovered it was none other than his new boss, a man he had met only days before. Good morning, Mr. Waxman," Thomas quipped. "Morning to you, Crigley," Jeffrey Waxman, the owner of the Paris Cafe, replied in an instant. As they shook hands, his new boss took a couple of quick sniffs as he scanned the room with his dark brown Grecian eyes. "Who's been smoking in here? Do you smoke? There is no smoking in here. And, where is Josh?"